welcome to the JTrain podcast. This is JTrain, Jared Freid, coming to you live from the West Village of Manhattan. We're here every Monday with your emails, your stories, your questions. I say it every episode. Let me say it again. Thank you. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you. I love that you're here. And when you're here, you're family. That's right. As the Olive Garden once said, when you're here, you're family. I'm just pumped that you like this show. I enjoy doing it so much. And it means a lot to me that a lot of you write to me and you say, I've told all my friends and family. Thank you. That means a lot. That tickles my nuts, baby. That feels good. I love when you tell your friends, your coworkers, your brothers, your sisters, your mamas, your papas. I want you to let the world know. Sing the song of JTrain across these hills and mountains. And if you haven't yet, this should let you know that people are doing it. I would feel awkward. I'd feel a little weird. All these people are talking about JTrain? Yeah. How about you? Bucko? Do people say Bucko?
You just did.
I'm a Bucko guy now.
You're a Bucko guy.
I like Bucko.
I love Bucko.
That's
for
right.
you especially.
Bucko?
Yeah,
like, what
Bucko.
if I just said it?
I'll say it with you. Unless I'm stepping
Listen,
on your...
You're not stepping on anything.
Okay.
The show is the show.
Yeah.
Give ourselves. Bucko. Like, there was a time when people were Bucko people.
Everybody was into Bucko.
Right. Bucko. I don't even know. How does that even...
I don't want to... I don't know if this is... We should look it up.
The etymology.
The origin of Bucko.
We find out it's like this huge slur.
We cannot say Bucko.
Can't say it. We've said it 1,000 times.
Bucko
Let me introduce
origin.
our guests. Very excited to have them back into the JTrain cinematic universe, the JCU. Ashley, Gavin, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. You're the best at intros. I forgot that... I remember... As you were doing the intro, I was like, oh, yeah.
This is what he does.
This is really his
This is
thing.
what this Bucko does.
Yeah. He's an intro Bucko.
Listen, I'm so excited to have you back, Ashley. Everyone needs to follow Ashley Gavin. Hilarious comic, at AshGavs on all social media, including YouTube, which is why... people come on here to sell their wares, as you do, as you should, at AshGavs, but youtube.com/AshGavs, or if you look up Ashley Gavin, Ashley has a special that is out right now for your consumption. It is date night. It is night on the couch. It is in bed with the computer open. Do you want a laugh, and do you want to laugh for free? Ashley Gavin, live in Chicago, is out right now. It came out last night. How exciting. Are you pumped?
I'm so pumped. Please, God, go listen to it, because I'm doing this whole internet thing. Mm-hmm. I really invested in myself. I put it out for free so you guys can enjoy it for free. I'm really proud of it.
Well,
I'm very proud of it.
That's all that truly matters. And when you're proud of something, you just want many people to see it. And here's the rub, people. Here's the rub, Bucko.
Yeah, Bucko.
Go touch the special. What do you mean by that, Jared? It sounds somewhat, that sounds a little awkward. It sounds a little
Especially
creepy.
after the tickling your nuts comment.
Right,
which,
tickle my nuts. Go
touch the special.
Touch the special, feather my nuts. This is all part of the lexicon of the JCU.
Yeah.
Now, the JTrain cinematic universe, as I've come to call it. We're all, the world, what I love that you're doing is it's raining out, bring an umbrella. So that's what I when we say these dating issues, you go, hey, here's what's going on. All I can tell you is what's going on. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you how, but this is just what's happening.
Yeah.
We're in the world of create your own product, create your own special. You walked into my studio apartment where there is a podcast studio that just comes out of nowhere because...
Very impressive. I don't know if he's ever done the behind the scenes,
Shelby.
but... Yeah, very, very impressive.
Shelby,
good work.
The man behind the curtain. So I will say to you, you come here to this to tell people, hey, I got this great thing for you to laugh at. If you're listening right now, comment, like, share. There are levels of payment options.
Yeah.
And I always try to make it sound like payment because we lose track of that. When you like it, you've given $1.
Yeah.
That is truly a payment to us. Maybe not to you. In your life, you have a different way of getting compensated. We love likes. We love comments. That's $2.
Yeah.
A comment is $2. A share, that's like a $5 purchase. Do you see what I'm talking about? And I think what happens is in the internet world is we shy away from that. Right? You said you've made a big investment in yourself. It's hard to do that. It's hard to admit to it.
Yeah.
Because we all want to live it. Oh, it's just social media. We all have it. It's all for free. No. No, there's payments you can do when you share. That's why I say it tickles my nuts. It feels so fucking good. And when you like it and you comment, those all matter too. So I want you to go Ashley's fantastic and hilarious. You're going to love, love, love. There's been a lot of care put into the special. There's been a lot of attention paid to it. So Ashley Gavin, live in Chicago. Where did you tape it in Chicago?
In Chicago, we taped it in Chicago.
Well,
we taped it at the Den Theater, which was phenomenal.
Den is great.
Such a great room.
I've heard nothing but great things.
And I think if they like your comedy, they're going to like my comedy.
Gonna love it.
Because I'm very high energy,
Love
like
it.
you on stage. It's very active. There's a lot of act outs. And like if you're into women comedians, like... You know, there's not a lot of us doing it on YouTube, so go support a lady.
Yeah. Well, go. You're hilarious.
A bucko lady.
Go support this bucko. But also, the support thing. There's exchange. I even shy away from the word support. I don't mean to disagree with you.
It is for you. You do get to watch an hour of stand up.
Right. What a pleasure. I don't know how bad this sounds, but we let this group take over the internet of like, oh, look at your There's no beg here. We are offering a product.
Yeah.
There's an exchange of goods for services, so I want to live in the land of reality as much as possible. The special, hilarious. All of Ashley's videos, also funny.
Oh,
so you guys are going to love it, enjoy it. We have some emails to get to.
Yeah,
Before we get to those.
I'm still trying to find Bucko.
Is it Bucko? Did we find anything?
Another name used for the Pittsburgh Pirates, which
they're the Bucks. They're the
Buccos.
They're the Pirates.
But that doesn't feel right. It feels like a 1940s, like kind of.
Because I've heard people be like, "You better get in line, Bucko."
Yeah,
Shelby, you know what we're talking about?
Bucko is B-U-C-K and Buck Pirate.
Oh,
yeah. Pirates is B-U-C.
Bucko
CC.
with a K. That's
with
what
a
I'm
K.
doing wrong. Term of address, 1883, originally nautical with a sense of swaggering, domineering fellow.
Really?
Swashbuckler, maybe?
A swashbuckler.
A bucko?
Ooh, that makes some sense. A swashbuckler. You're saying a little Captain Jack Sparrow to it. That would be a bucko.
Young lad, friend, pal. So I think it originated with the pirates. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Listen. If you're listening right now or if you're watching on YouTube, I'm on the road, people. I'm coming to Europe. That's right. This bucko is coming to Europe. I'm going to Dublin, Belfast, London, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Berlin, Oslo. All fantastic towns. I've never been to most of them. I've never been to Copenhagen, Belfast, Dublin, Amsterdam. I'm very excited. So if you're listening right now, I'm about to head off overseas for shows. I would love for you to come to the show. If you know someone in those towns, let them know. Especially if you know them, they probably are in touch with American humor. Maybe they're looking for an outlet for that type of thing. And then we're doing You Up Live. Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, New York, D.C. Those are all You Up Live. If you're a fan of this show, you will love that show. It is a dating talk show. It is not very much like my stand-up. It is like my stand-up because it's me, but it's Jordan and I. We bring people on stage. We give dating app makeovers. We play Red Flag Deal Breaker. And then I'm going to Kansas City, Missouri, Nashville, Tennessee, Lexington, Kentucky. I can't say Lexington, Kentucky. Charlotte, North Carolina. So jaredfreid.com for tickies, jaredfreid.com for tickies, jaredfreid.com for tickets. Let's get to the emails. You ready?
Let's do it.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. That's where you send it. Leaving date after getting the ick. Now, in the lesbian community,
yes,
is the ick as much of a thing as it seems to be in the straight female community? Because I think it's a very straight female thing.
I agree. Men don't seem to get the ick as much as women get the ick.
Right.
And lesbians really don't get the ick. I've had a conversation about this, actually. I don't think we can afford the ick because our dating pool is so small. You really have to give people a couple tries before you go, I'm full ick on this person.
I talk a lot about the ick in the special that I just taped. If you've been to my live show, a part of it, I ask women to announce icks that they've gotten.
Yeah.
I didn't know I think it started really coming to the public view via Love Island. I think the English women there have been like, I got the ick, and then it became this more, and I started talking about it, and now I'm hearing it more and more.
It's everywhere.
Now it's everywhere.
Everyone's sick. It's a pandemic of ick.
Right.
It's a pandemic.
Right. Totally. And the way so on stage, the whole bit is about how I have no relation to it, and then just kind of taking this adventurers, let me explore what this is from my angle. And when I think about it, what seems to be to me is like, it seems like the ick is a woman giving a guy who she's not that into a chance. And you said that, giving a chance. We have to give extra chances because the pool isn't that great. And them going, he's got these box checked.
Right.
And I gotta go because I'm looking, I want to be in a relationship.
Right.
I think people get the ick more when they're like, I want to be in a relationship. This person has been presented to me that...
I don't know, because I've always thought the ick is the moment where the switch flips, where you're like, I'm into this person, and now I can absolutely, under no circumstances, ever.
Right. I agree with that. That seems to be the way it was presented to me. But then you hear what these icks are, and it's like, every ick that is great to me is the ones that someone else would date and look over.
That's true. I do think there is an element of that. I got a major ick once. I was kind of flirting with someone, and she sent me a video of herself. I think it was around Halloween, so she was kind of in a sexy outfit.
Okay.
And so I think she was kind of drunk and feeling herself, and she took a little video of herself dancing and sent it to me.
Oh, God.
Which you shouldn't. You should not.
Right.
Unless you're a professional dancer, like,
right.
You're not that good at dancing.
Right. Dancing.
Nobody is.
No one's watching you dance. Like, we think people are looking at us dance more than they are. So, like, if you're at a wedding, no one cares that you're dancing.
No one gives a shit. But also, everybody's bad.
Right. Everyone's bad. And also, you're with friends.
Yeah.
So, everyone has an association. Everyone likes you, thinks you're great, thinks you're wonderful. Oh, that's how they dance. That's how I dance. Who the fuck cares? We don't really care.
Right.
It is only when you have been zoned in on.
Right.
From someone you don't know that you are watched being danced. And that, in that circumstance where you're like, how do they dance?
Yeah. Oh, it was an attempt to be sexy, and that's what it literally, I lost total interest because she had to take the video. She watched it then sent it to me, and she thought it was okay.
That's it. It's not the dance. It's the thinking it's okay to send the dance.
Yeah.
That really, you go, how could this person be normal at all?
I would rather her have sent me a video of her, like, the dancing was captured candidly and it looked, you know what I mean? Like, she had a sense of humor about it. Yes, exactly. I didn't put on sexy clothes. It just,
There's
whole
too many
thing. steps
that lead to the step that you're seeing this to overlook. Well, look, this person writes, Jared and guest, first time writing in. My work from home days, the archives of this podcast play nonstop. Hope you can help me out. In your experience or opinion, what's the most considerate way to end a first date that is absolutely giving you the ick? For reference, this was drinks planned for after we both wrapped up respective happy hours. It's a first date off the apps quickly, and he picked a super rowdy spot. Think hair of the dog on a Friday night. For those that don't know New York City, think sports bar during a big game. So we couldn't talk without saying what the whole time. It ruined any of the rhythm or chemistry I may have found between us in a different venue, and I clumsily left after one drink saying I was too tired. This felt forced, not well taken. How can you end a date abruptly but politely? How much do I need to worry about polite when I know I won't see them again? What do you think?
Yeah,
Ashley,
I think the ending sentence says it. How much do I have to worry about being... Obviously, you don't want to be mean. You don't want to be mean-spirited. But at the end of the day, I think not wasting someone's time is more important than wasting their time, potentially giving them the wrong idea, and then, having to deal with them later, being like, well, why didn't you want to hang out? You know what I'm saying?
I think that polite and ending a date are... don't have to be... Yeah. Just because you end a date doesn't mean you don't have to be polite.
Right. Please, I'm having a terrible time. Thank you.
Right.
Condolences. Goodbye.
Right. They're like, sometimes you wonder, like, if the internet has infected our brains so much that you're like, we forget, like, there's a way to be, like, really nice and just go, hey, this was nice, but I gotta go.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It is more polite to not waste someone's time than it is less polite to say no to the date or just to say, hey, I gotta go. It's over for me.
Yeah.
And you can lie a little bit.
Oh, totally. You can do the whole, like, you could tell your friend to call you type of thing, go to the bathroom, say you got a call or something.
I don't want to be sleeping next to someone that doesn't want to sleep next to me. I don't want to be on a date with someone who doesn't want to be on a date with me. I don't want to deal with someone who's dreading the moments
Right.
spent in my presence.
Right. Yeah, totally.
So, and listen, it's going to be awkward.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt. I'm sorry. That's the world.
But the faster you do it, the less attached they've become to you.
Right.
You know, like
right. And you know, it's funny. Like what happens a lot of times is like you'll say like, hey, you know, this was what the problem is, and the reason this person's probably writing in is like sometimes the response to your ending is so like angered that they like make you not polite in other ways. So it's like if you're like, hey, I had a great time on the date with you, but there's no romantic connection for me. Like that's a pretty polite way to like tell someone I don't want to go on a date again. Sometimes you'll get like one in 10. You'll get like, well, you thought I was into you? And you're like,
right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Just let me out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're like trying to get ahead of.
Yeah.
Most people don't want discomfort.
Right. Most people are going to, you know, maybe they'll be miffed,
right.
but they're not going to, they're going to tell their friends. They're not going to tell you. And
have you ever ended a date early? What would get you out?
Yeah, I did once with a mumbler. I couldn't handle the mumbling.
You're like, what?
Yeah,
what?
no, over and over again.
I'd like to go.
I would like to go. And I hate, you know, like sometimes I used to have a speech impediment, so I'm like sensitive to this, but like I just like we didn't connect at all. And
how did you end it? Like to me, it's hard for me, and I will take this emailer's. I completely understand the question because it's hard for me to end a date before 2 drinks. Like, I'm in my mind, the respect is paid of like, you've gotten ready, I've gotten ready. We're going to do 2
you've
drinks.
commuted. Yeah.
Makeup has been taken out probably. You know,
right.
I've gotten dressed. I've thought of what I've done. To me, a date is a commitment to 2 drinks.
Yeah.
Whatever those drinks may be. Coffee, water, whatever it is. I'm going to sip from 2 different glasses. It'd be hard for me personally to be like 1 drink and then go, hey, this was great, I gotta go. But you can do that.
You can do that. I think I lied. I'm lucky because I have comedy.
Right.
But I think I lied and was like, I just got put on another show. I'm so sorry. I have to run. So you can make up some kind of weird work thing too,
right.
or like
would you ever be okay with someone going, hey, I'm not really feeling the connection. I hope you're not. Like I would be annoyed if someone did that to me, but after days of reflection, I would go, yeah. Okay.
I think in the moment you're like, painful.
Right.
That hurt.
Right. Even if you don't like them, you're like, no, I can win this.
That's the piece of it that makes us fucked up as a human.
Right.
If you're like, well, now I have to like you because I'm the protagonist and the story has begun and now I win you over and everyone cheers for me at the end.
So true. That is like that's the truth in dating. That's the hardest part about this is like,
I'll show you. I'll fall in love with you and love you forever, damn it.
Now that you told me I can't have it, it's so hard. That's why I think lying is the better way to go.
Lying is definitely the best way to go, but if you can't come up with a lie or you have trouble with lying, I think just what you said is fine. It will hurt. It will sting. They might be like, okay, or they might just agree with you, but it's only going to last like 24 to 48 hours,
right? And you'll be better off in the long run.
Yeah.
I don't think there's such a thing as too early as like, hey, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming out. Actually,
it's just immediate ick. I'm sorry, just say you.
Right. I'm in their scenario that they've built where they're like, you brought me to a loud bar. Like, I think and also when you go to a date from a pregame, she said they were at work happy hours.
Yeah.
So like, okay, that's great. I've already had a long night. That's an easy out. Like, hey, this was really nice. I think starting with, hey, this was really nice. I'm really happy we got to meet. I got to go because I got to be up early in the morning. This was nice, though. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Boom. And then there's no like, well, what about? No.
Yeah.
You've closed it off. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Ashley Gavin. The special. It is out on YouTube right now. The description of this episode has the link to the special. You can watch it. Ashley Gavin live in Chicago. Okay, let me give a big trigger warning. This next email deals in death and someone taking their own life. So If that is a triggering subject for you, I would fast forward ahead. I would go to the next email, but I want to be able to get ahead of this before we go. My ex took his life, and I'm worried about moving on. Hello, JTrain. For the backstory for my relationship, we dated for about 2 years. Randomly, to me at least, maybe not for him, he decided he was going to move out of state. He talked about moving in the past and had tried once before, and I was included in those conversations and what that meant for us. I was not part of the conversation this time and kind of figured that he was no longer thinking about me as part of his future. Our relationship essentially fizzled and ended after he moved. That's very much not a breakup to me. Like when you describe it that way.
Yeah.
2 years and it fizzling.
Yeah. That's a long time to, I mean, obviously he wasn't doing well. But
right. It's a long time to fizzle.
Yeah.
Like I know the fizzle. I get the fizzle.
Yeah, I've fizzled. We've all fizzled.
But this feels a not fizzle
usually
situation.
It's like under 6 months I would say max. You can't usually like 3 months, I would think.
Right. And I haven't spoken to someone about, hey, maybe we move together and then fizzled out.
Yeah.
Like it just feels okay. That was May 2021. It was a pretty rough relationship, so I stayed single to get back to myself before jumping into anything. I was feeling ready to start looking again around the New Year when a family member of his called and let me know he took his life. Hey,
I see. Okay.
So along with moving past the relationship, there was a lot of guilt, confusion, and new pain that came from his suicide that I have been working on. I have been doing that for the past year, but really miss having someone to be affectionate with and having the support from a partner. It's fucking hard trying to juggle everything by yourself. So I'm trying to move forward. I've been worried about getting back out there and want to know how to approach this. If the ex conversation comes up naturally on a date, what's a good way to phrase this to say I'm over this person? I wouldn't want to be back together with them, but I do still have hard days thinking about his death. I really don't want to be a huge buzzkill when I'm trying to meet people. Also, I feel like a kiss shouldn't be a big deal, but he's still the last person I kissed, and I think losing another tie to him will be bittersweet. I wouldn't want a new person to think I wasn't excited about them or that something was wrong. I'm wondering if I should just try to push through and act like everything is okay, assuming I'm happy to be there but dealing with feelings that come up. Or should I try to bring this up with someone beforehand? It feels like it would be a lot of pressure on someone, but I kind of just want to be upfront and let them know what I'm going through isn't about them. Would you feel like someone was lying to you if they weren't upfront about this information? So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tough email.
Really very difficult.
I think it's a very interesting email for a lot of reasons. But what do you think? I mean,
obviously I'm not a therapist, but I've had a fair amount of like grief in my life. Just to say, going into this, like I lost my dad when I was 11, and then my cousin took his life a few years ago. So that was obviously terrible. But I think as someone who's like dealt with grief for a really, really long period, like just basically my entire life, like in the beginning you do hold on to those moments and physical things and like remembering and smells and mementos, and those become less and less important as you go through your grief. You're gonna let go of those, like, so what she said about the kiss thing, like not that that's like enormous, but like you are in time going to like internalize that the memory of this person is not in the thing itself. It's like inside of you, what you've taken away from the relationship, and it's going to take on a new form. So if you need hope, like here's just telling you like that part of your grief is going to lessen and lessen and lessen.
Right. It is an interesting. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
It is interesting. Like the idea of this. That's my last kiss. Like it is interesting. She doesn't even realize it until it happens.
Until it happens. Yeah.
Right. It's not even like their breakup would make her think, wow, my last kiss was with this guy, as much as it does now, because it's almost like them as a human is fading.
You're holding on to every memory. You don't want to. You feel guilty when you let go of memories, even though this person would never, ever. There's no person on the planet who wants their loved ones to hold on to something so hard that you miss out on life. No one wants that for anybody. And what you said about not telling, this is like, in my opinion, You don't owe anyone an explanation on when you tell them this information. I think if you're going to get into a serious relationship, of course, you do have to have the conversation at some point. But, like, you're not a bad person for holding on to this until you're like, I want to start a serious relationship with this person.
No, I guess when do you, listen, I am not a professional. I do this person. You might need some professional therapy.
Yeah, therapy would be
get
great.
Through this. That is a totally different thing than this podcast. There's a couple things, as far as like, do you owe who you're dealing with this information? No, not ever. But if I was on a date with someone and then they were like, I went to kiss them and they were like, I'm just not ready for that. That's okay. Like I wouldn't go, well, I need,
Yeah, right.
Write me a thesis.
Hold on, Bucko.
Listen, Bucko,
you better have a good excuse.
Right. Did someone die?
Exactly.
Right. Like, I would just go, okay, that's not the right timing for them. And if someone couldn't understand that, obviously they're not the right match for you. It's time to move on from that person. I would say whoever you're ready to like tell this to, you'll know, like I can't tell you. It is, like if I was on a date with someone and they were like, if it went the other way, if they were really upfront about it, that wouldn't be like me being like, whoa, I better not get involved with this. That wouldn't really push me to that, because I'd be like, no, I can understand why this is a totally like honestly, this popped up into you. This is like getting like someone just putting a bad memory into your head, because it's so, you weren't involved with this person.
Right.
Then you get told this information, like it's gotta feel like, oh my God, how did that, like, it's almost someone like delivered you a literal like bomb.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, so that's why and so as far as like, if you were on a date with me, I wouldn't be like, wow, I can't believe you're like, I would be like, wow, this is horrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I also think there's a way to do it somewhere in between where you're like, hey, just so you know, I'm moving a little bit slower right now because I broke up with a partner and then I found out a few months later they passed away.
Right. And I can understand only telling that to someone you feel deserves that information.
Right.
Where you go, I like this person. I want to let them know why it's going. And they might opt out, which isn't in your control. I don't think that they're going to be a great partner for you anyways, or they were after the right things with you anyways. I don't think you're losing on that, but they're probably going to go, totally understand if they're the right person.
Yeah, totally.
Here's the other thing, and this is a different track than kind of what they're asking about. If someone wrote into this, hey, I was in this long-term relationship and it fizzled out and I'm still thinking about that person, I would tell that person, go break up with that person, because the fizzle is like the worst ending when it comes to like we both acknowledged 2 years move away fizzle is weird. Yeah. Like it doesn't really give you, listen, I don't think you ever get closure, but that doesn't give you any amount of like.
It's the least amount of closure that you could possibly have.
Right. Yeah. So to say, well, we broke up because of this move, that's not even the real reason. You broke up because it wasn't the right match. And, this person who took their own life, like they kind of took away from you like the smallest amount of closure. Like, I think like that's got to be the toughest part of this, is like, you didn't get to break up. You didn't get to like, hey, end this part of your life for you. So I think that's the hardest part about this whole thing from an outsider's perspective.
Yeah. And just the guilt, I can't even imagine the guilt of just like trying to process how they might have been feeling at the time when you were with them. Right. I'm not, and you are not guilty. Obviously you're not guilty of anything. I just know, like, for me, like, you feel even in the most insane circumstances, you're like, what could I have possibly done differently to have avoided this outcome? And so, yeah, with a relationship on top of that, I mean, it's really, really hard.
Right. And I think that's like there's no lesson in this. I don't, to say lesson, I don't think that's the right word, but it's like, it's okay to like, to not allow the fizzle to happen to you. Like you don't have to be just a victim to the fizzle. You can break up with, like, I think like it's like you can break up with someone even if the breakup has already happened. And like that does a lot more for you than maybe you would assume. Like, it allows you to go, okay, now that person knows there's a barrier up. Like, you can't just waltz back in the way you waltzed out.
Right. I guess that's true. I guess that's what you're kind of doing the breakup for, the possible moment that they would text you again or email you or, oh, hey, I'm in town. Or
if the last text in the chain is, hey, I have moved on from this, like, it's tough to be like, so what's happening this weekend?
Yeah.
Than it is when you fizzled and you go, oh, what's happening? We were cool.
Right,
you know?
right.
Like,
yeah, you're so right.
I don't know. I think, like,
because it almost feels like there might have been a discrepancy in this relationship, maybe that they had never defined it.
Right.
Like, maybe they were thinking different things.
This person's trying to work through that without them here, which sucks. And I think, like, that's got to be one of the hardest parts, of, obviously amongst other hard parts of this stuff, would be like, hey, like, I never got that ending.
Yeah.
It was kind of served to me. Oh, it's tough.
I have a friend who actually went through something really similar.
Really?
Yeah. And they were not dating, and they had been broken up, it sounded like about a year, and he took his life, and she is, like, struggling. So for the person out there, like, I know you might feel really alone, but grief groups are really great. Like, you would be surprised how many people are in a similar situation as you. And it's so unique, and no one understands, and everyone is so uncomfortable talking about it. So I'm sure you feel really isolated. I cannot recommend highly enough, like, a grief group where you can meet other people. Right.
And especially, like, the not deserving. Like, they had a family member reach out to them. I'm sure, like, the family member was like, I'm like,
oh yeah,
like you don't feel like you deserve the grief because you guys were fizzled out. Like, I'm sure that works into it. Like, even if I was in this person's position, I would be like, man, they must have had a conversation. Should we call so-and-so?
Right.
Like, the fact that you, like, were given a call was a favor. Like, I would think that. Like, I'm not trying to put, like,
no, totally.
I would be like, ugh. Like,
you hear that even with, like, huge grief. There's, like, competition between the different people that knew this person.
Right.
Even within my own family about my dad dying. Like, I couldn't believe some of the things that were said to different members of my family. I was just like, why are we competing over this? Like, this is just a horrible thing that happened.
Right.
No one has any right to judge how you feel about the passing of anyone in your life, period.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Every so often, you'll learn something new about yourself. Maybe you found a new food you didn't know you loved, or a new hobby you're suddenly interested in. The more you learn about yourself, the more easily you can navigate through the challenges of life. BetterHelp's online therapy is here to help you work through struggles and share your successes with a licensed therapist. Here's what I love about BetterHelp. It is a toe into the water of therapy. You don't have to go into an office. You don't have to wait in the waiting room. You don't have to search out and find a therapist through Google or have to ask friends. It's convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You can do therapy from the comfort of your home or even your bed. Nobody's going to judge. Fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist today and get on your way to living a better life. If you need a different therapist at any point, switch easily with no extra charge. I love that. I love that there's a marketplace for whatever you're going through. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JTrain to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JTrain. BetterHelp.com/JTrain. Wearing uncomfortable underwear is the worst. You can't focus on your daily life and you're regretting every choice that led you to putting on that ratty pair of underwear from 2013. Stop picking wedgies and get MeUndies. MeUndies are incredibly comfortable underwear that come in fun prints and tons of colors. I'm going to tell you right now, there is nothing that feels better than putting on a great pair of underwear that fits you perfectly, and that's what MeUndies is all about. Right now, you are dealing with a pair of underwear, and I'm going to tell you right now, free yourself. Take that underwear that you avoid, the one that's at the end of the in the back of the drawer, throw it away. Add a MeUndie. If you've always wanted boxers with Scar from The Lion King on them, MeUndies has it. If you want a bralette featuring the eggplant emoji, MeUndies has that too. And that's fun. What a fun reveal, with your partner. And what a nice thing. And also, it's fun to put them on. Know you got something fun hiding in your pants. To ensure that you're comfortable every single day, MeUndies has a membership that hooks you up each month with the coziest loungewear, bralettes, and undies from extra small to 4XL. Comfort and convenience, what more could you want? Members also get up to 30% off select items, exclusive deals, and early access. Here's another awesome deal for just JTrain listeners. To get 25% off your first order plus free shipping, free standard shipping, visit MeUndies.com/JTrain. That's MeUndies.com/JTrain for 25% off your first order and free standard shipping. Remember, if you're not satisfied, your purchase is on MeUndies. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com, JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. Here with Ashley Gavin. We have more fun emails. It's never an easy transition to go from this to something else. But I mean, should have quit their wedding? That sounds like a more fun subject.
Upbeat.
Right? Jared and Shirley, hilarious guest. This situation actually happened a few years back, but I think about it and get angry to this day, so I'd love your take. Okay, angry about a wedding. Okay, let's do it. Backstory. I had been completely platonic friends with this guy for a few years when he started dating this girl. We'll call her Sarah. About a year into their relationship, Sarah moved into my house that I own because her lease was up, but my guy friend wasn't quite ready to live with her. They ended up shacking up about a year later. Hold on. So basically the way this is written, he starts dating this girl, and then she moves in with him in her house?
No, I think she first moves in with the writer.
Right.
And then a year later moves in with him.
Okay.
I think
you're right. I work in human resources and Sarah is a teacher. She had asked me to get her a summer gig at the hotel I work for. She didn't love the job, but it was only
What
for
is
8
this
weeks
woman
or so.
doing all of these favors for Sarah? Sarah's codependent on the writer.
Right. Also,
the writer got her a job and a house. This is so crazy.
This person has done them quite the amount of favor. Like, this is like you're their angel. Yeah. This is a highly seasonal place. So as you can imagine, holidays are a huge deal as far as staffing. On the 3rd of July, my boss comes to my office, asks why I have not posted the server position to be filled. Confused, I reply, all of our server positions are filled. Without giving me as much a heads up, Sarah quit her job. She asked me to get her the day before a huge holiday rush, leaving me looking ridiculous at my job. I asked Sarah to meet up.
Sarah. I don't even care what happens.
I asked Sarah to meet up with me to talk about it and express how it made me feel. But she would only agree to a phone call, during which she laughed, but said it was something funny or her dog did. Sarah's a monster.
Yeah, we don't like Sarah.
The kicker, I had already agreed to be a bridesmaid in her wedding. Our friendship never recovered, and the whole wedding planning execution was a nightmare. Should I have dropped out of the wedding? Was I right to... Was I right to be upset about her quitting? Sincerely, never hire a friend. Okay, the living
I'm on your side.
Yeah, I'm on. July 3rd, the 3rd of July, as they put it. You know the day. You know that weekend's a tough week. I think when you go ahead, this is right. There's no.
You got her a house and a job. You owe this person absolutely nothing.
Should they have opted out of the wedding? If you don't like someone and you're in their wedding, should you opt out? If you're not totally excited.
Yeah, I think so.
Have you? That's advice I would give. I would never take. Like, if I was asked to be in someone's wedding, and I was like, I'll be in the wedding, and then over the course of time, I hated them.
Oh, you're halfway through it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I agree with you. Like, I don't want. Like, I've learned this with comedy. Don't do something you half want to do, because this job is horrible if you're half doing it well.
Yes.
I think the same for a wedding party. Like, if someone, like, I have a wedding invitation, I'm going to say no to.
Yeah.
And saying no to the wedding invitation, getting in front of all that, is the biggest gift I've ever given myself. Sending the check for their gift in the RSVP that says, no, have fun, I won't be there. It feels, I would pay double.
Yeah.
To get out of that wedding. But if I've already said yes, here's how if I hated someone and they asked me to be in their wedding, it's a thank you, but no thank you. Mm-hmm. If I like someone, asked me to be at the wedding, I said yes, and then I started hating them.
That's harder. That's much harder.
I would still go through with it.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to go through it, because there's a cost. There's like a cost benefit analysis of like, okay, what's going to cause more emotional turmoil in my life?
Right.
finishing up this process that I've already started, or picking a fight with the wife of my very good friend.
Right. You're going to have to be at that wedding anyways.
Right.
So like, you're close with the groom. So you're going to have to be there. Just, what are you going to be, the fucking turd in the punch bowl? Why aren't you in the wedding? Well, I said, no, I don't like them enough, but I like them enough to be here.
Yeah.
Like, you have to opt out of the whole friendship.
Yes.
If you opt out of the wedding party.
Potentially, yeah. I think in this particular situation, because of the and I'm actually wondering if the friendship with the groom is why this woman is horrible to her.
Probably.
Sometimes.
Well, the friendship with the groom is probably why they're feel comfortable taking advantage of them. Because that's the other thing of this email. If someone gets you a job, there are people listening right now being like, no, they have the job, and then the job is theirs, and they don't have to. They're good, and it's like no.
You're at their place of work. You are a reflection of their vouching,
especially in a seasonal position. Especially if it's within a year of taking the job, you work for both your manager and the person who got you the job.
Right,
within a year, at a minimum.
Yeah, you put in a good amount of time that if you were to leave, it's got nothing to do with the person who's vouched for you.
Right, and then because now this person. They took away a job from someone else to get you the job, and you got unfair treatment to get this job.
Yes.
You were brought on. You're fucking so-and-so's friend. So you're already ahead of all the other applicants. So you have to acknowledge what you've been given ahead of the other applicants to get this job in the first place to be shitty at.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's fucked up.
So I think do it. Drop out of the wedding. But
well, I don't even think they said this happened a year ago. They said, should I have?
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think it depends on the groom. Are you going to still be able to be friends? Because this woman is evil. So I don't think you'd have a good friendship with them to begin with to worry about. It's just mostly are you willing to damage the friendship with the groom?
Absolutely. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Ashley Gavin at Ash Gavs on Instagram, YouTube. The special Ashley Gavin live in Chicago. Go. Watch, comment, love, enjoy. Sister of an Ex off limits. Sister of an Ex.
My instinct is yes.
Dear Jared and esteemed guests, long-time listener, first-time writing in, love listening to your podcast on my daily dog walks. I'm writing in to have your input on my situation that has come up. To set the scene, about 10 years ago when I was in my very early 20s, I dated this girl who was some 5 to 6 years older than me. It was an incredible relationship. Everything just worked out like in a fairy tale, and we were madly in love. Now the sad part. After 2 years, I broke it off since the age difference and expectations of kids and family was becoming too much of a burden for me at that age. I would say it was an amicable breakup, and we stayed in touch to this day. Fast forward a decade. Some weeks ago, I randomly ran into her with her younger sister.
Oh boy,
dude. I just am like, it's funny that like if I was the angel on the shoulder, I'd be like, look away, dude. Look away.
Sprint out of the coffee shop. Right. I don't know where this happened, but just absolutely book it.
I honestly did not know all too much about her sister since when I was together with my ex, she was still a kid. And I only saw her a handful of times. We chatted a bit and went our own ways. I didn't really make much of it until later that night. The younger sister texted me.
Oh.
Strange, I thought. We started texting back a bit back and forth, but I expected it to die out within a few days. It didn't. We started finding out that we have a lot in common, and our texts just became endless. After a few weeks, we decided to meet up for coffee, all under the pretense that this was just friendly. Needless to say,
how did the sister get the number? The sister had to ask the sister.
Right.
I don't know.
That's
just a thought.
That's a little bit of a thumbs up.
Yep.
Needless to say, it didn't feel like it, and it was quite flirty. We are now talking about another meetup. At this point, I think it's quite set that both of us want more from this, but both are too scared to do anything due to what actually connects us. Her sister, my ex. What are your thoughts on this? Should I drop this before it goes too far and causes some conflict with the sister, or should we follow our hearts and see if there's more to this? I love how he said, should we follow our hearts? You asshole, trying to push us.
Well, if you're going to do it, you got to do it now.
Right.
You can't prolong it. You can't drag it out. You're going to ruin a family.
Right.
And a friendship.
Right.
So you got to do it now.
How did she get your number? Very important part of this story. How did she get the number? I need to know that.
If she asks the sister knows.
Right.
I mean,
and she knows.
Yes.
So this is a very important. We have to, again, don't tell me it ain't raining when I'm drenched. Mm-hmm. So we all have to live in the same reality. So if we're all in the same reality, there's a keyhole for us to go through.
It's a decade. It's been a decade. That's a long time.
Well, is the older sister married? Has she moved on?
That's what I was going to ask.
Big part of
is there a husband? Because if there's a husband, I would say you can probably go for it.
Right. The older sister needs to be doing quote unquote well.
The husband is sort of like the trap door of the whole thing. Because if she gets upset about it with the husband, she's kind of locked in to being okay with it if she has a husband.
Right. And the way this guy describes it, I think it's so interesting. He's like, it was a fairy tale love, except I wasn't ready for what she was ready for. And it's like, okay, if she was ready for kids and husband and all that 10 years ago and doesn't have it still, I would hope she has it.
Yeah, she probably has it.
And you go, fly away, bird, and you find your love, right? And then she's like, I'm still flying here, and you want the younger sister?
I've been flying for 10 years, and you're trying to fuck my sister.
Well, that's the thing. The sister probably has a very similar value set and background, and you're remembering this relationship that only ended because of this not ready yet situation. Like, honestly, that's a little uncomfortable to be like, let's look at the future, like 10 years from now. Like, let's jump another 10 years. Are you going to be like, it would have been us, but, timing, but I got the younger one. I don't know. It's a little weird.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I think if you put it out in the open, you can get past it.
Right.
But you absolutely must. You cannot date in secret.
Listen, I've read enough Our Story pages on wedding websites to see a lot of people rationalize their love story in whatever way they want to rationalize it.
Do you react to those?
I love what Our Story pages. They are fantastic.
That's a phenomenal TikTok idea if you're not reacting to Our Stories.
I would love to do that. I had someone sent it to for my Patreon. Someone sent me one. They were like, I just need you to react to this. And it was so fantastic, the wording. And I'm like, I can tell exactly where the icks were. Yeah. That these became quirks,
Right, right.
And you go, but for like this wedding, Our Story page would be like, 10 years ago, a beautiful relationship between me and the sister was not, timing was off. And then I found the same exact person in a younger vessel. It's like, it could be gross.
I know, it's almost worse that it's the younger sisters.
Right. But I agree with you. Now's the time.
Yep.
If you don't do it now, it's never. Then you're kind of an asshole. Like a little bit. All of you are.
Yeah.
I would say to the younger sister, hey, this feels like it's taking a new step for me that I feel uncomfortable with. I need to kind of know how you got my number and how much your sister knows about us talking before we keep going with this.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And just leave it open-ended like that. How does your sister feel about us talking?
Whose responsibility is it? The sister or him?
I think it's him.
I think it's him too.
I think it's him because the sister...
If a relationship is going to implode, it can't be the sisters. It's got to be you and the friend.
Right. And I would just say, like, hey, did you get my number from your sister? And under what pretense? Because I feel a little uncomfortable trying to date you as it feels like I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Knowing my history with your sister. You can be classy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, hey, I fucked your sister, what's up? It can be a nice way. Yeah. But I love this email. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Ashley Gavin at AshGavs on social media. So are we saying there's a chance? Dear Papa JT, several years ago, I had just gotten out of a serious relationship, and when word spread, a guy friend called me to tell me that his best friend let it be known that he would like to date me in a heartbeat.
Wow.
Back then, it all felt a little too close to home. I wanted to get out there, mess around on the apps, and have fun, so I never gave it the go-ahead. In that time, mistakes were made, and I ended up having a one-time hookup with our mutual friend. So I kind of assumed that it took it off the table. We both went on to date other people, and I put it out of mind. Fast forward 3 years today. He's been single for a while now, and I'm once again newly on the market. We don't see each other as often as we used to, but we recently ended up at a party, and damn, he's gotten even hotter. Okay.
Are we talking? I'm sorry, about the ex or the ex's best friend?
So I think no. It's so this person gets out of a relationship. Guy friend tells me that his best friend let it be known that he would date me in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Over this course of time, they hook up once.
Okay.
And then it's 3 years later, and now they're both single.
Okay.
So here's the question. Do I have a shot here? Do I still have a shot here? Or do time and friend hookups make the attraction fade? Oh, maybe you're right. I ended up having a one-time hookup with our mutual friend.
It's just unclear who the our is, if it's the ex or if it's the ex's best friend.
Well, not the ex. The ex is out.
Ex is gone.
Right. Guy friend called me to tell me that his best friend let it be known that he would date me in a heartbeat.
Got it.
And then too close for home, never gave it the go-ahead, and mistakes were made. I ended up having a one-time hookup with our mutual friend. So I think it's her mutual friend, the one that called and said so-and-so would date you.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Right? Shelby, yeah. Because that is confusing, though.
Yes.
So it's okay. So there's guy friend.
Because that would ruin it. That would kind of ruin it, I think. I could understand her concern with hooking up with the mutual.
Right, because now the mutual friend, I hooked up with him.
Yeah.
Does it ruin it with me and this other friend?
Yes.
So here's the question. Do I still have a shot here? Or do time and friend hookups make the attraction fade? And if it's in play, how do I initiate so many years after he expressed interest? Thanks for everything you do. Signed 2 years too late. What do you think?
I think go for it. I don't see the problem.
Me neither.
It's been a while and it was just one hookup, and things like that happen all the time.
Right.
Like, as a lesbian, I mean, we are just the absolute kings and queens of hooking up with friends and staying friends.
The carousel of love, so to speak.
It can, if we can be role models to you guys, we are able to preserve the friendship, hook up with people we used to hook up with, their friends, everything.
Right, and this kind of goes back to the Our Story page that we were talking about before. Like, this will get glossed up in the in the tales of time. Like, someone will look back and go, oh, and they met, and so put you in touch, and then you and so had a fun little, rendezvous, and then now you two are in love. Like, the minute love happens, everything else gets looked at under this glowy, flowery language. I totally agree. Go for it. I think acknowledging, hey, it's been a while. I just saw you were single. Would love to hang out. Let's get a drink.
Yeah, I think that's, keep it light.
Yeah,
which is always
totally
good
light.
advice.
It's not a big deal. And things will come out. I heard you, if that comes up, it comes up. I think if you get to the point where your mutual friend and you hooking up comes up, that's kind of like, I think at that point, that's not a problem. Yeah. Like, it's like almost becomes this like, it happened. Yeah. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm curious. The only thing we don't know is if he got mad about that. Like, yeah, I could see why he'd be mad at his friend. Right. I don't see why he could be mad at you.
No. There's no mad at you. I don't think he's dating you if it bothers him that much.
Right, exactly. Right.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. We got one more. You good for one more?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ashley Gavin at AshGavs on Instagram. YouTube.com/AshGavs. The special. It is out right now. How exciting.
It's very exciting.
And we're like,
and it's doing great.
That's already doing great.
You
it's
should
already
go
past
watch
1 million views. Well, we're on day 2 of it being out.
Yeah.
So it's fresh and ready out of the oven. So go watch it. Girls Trip Refund Dilemma. I love a refund dilemma. Jared, thanks for all the content and laughs. I have an interesting dilemma that I would like your take on. A few weeks ago, a group of my friends, 4 of us total, took a girls' trip. We all shared at a hotel room on this trip. Our trip got cut short by one night due to the airline canceling our return flight. After we returned home from our trip, the girl who booked the hotel submitted a refund request to the airline since we paid for a night at the hotel that went unused due to the flight changes. The airline sent her a $150 flight voucher. Since she couldn't divvy up the voucher, the rest of the group followed suit and requested a voucher. In my inquiry to the airline, I specifically requested a voucher to make up for the missed night and attached a receipt of the hotel stay. For some reason, the airline refunded the entire hotel stay to me. Ooh. I love how this, they just found themselves in a quandary.
Yeah. And I know how these vouchers work. They put your name on it. You cannot transfer it to another person.
Not just the one night we missed, but all 4 nights. This value was around $670. So everyone else got $150 and she got $670.
Don't tell anyone.
The other girls in the group followed the same procedure, but only got a $150 flight voucher. Now my friends are complaining in the group chat that they didn't each get a full refund.
Okay. First of all, you should have kept your mouth shut.
Right.
You should have kept your fucking mouth shut.
Right. Like, I So this person writes, one even went so far as to call someone at the customer service and complain that I got a full refund and they didn't. There's a point where you go, you got what you got. Someone got lucky.
I think you're lucky to even have gotten the $150, knowing what I know about airlines. Like,
I've never heard of such a thing.
Giving you a refund on a purchase separate from the airline, like, that's really very fortunate,
right.
I think.
The $150, I'm with you. The
Yeah.
$150, I'm surprised that they even got. I would feel lucky to have gotten the $150. The only reason they feel not lucky for getting the $150 is because someone else
won
got
the
6
lottery.
times. Yeah.
Someone else just accidentally won the lottery. It's sort of like when people go in on the lottery together and one person wins and the others don't, where they're like, well, you got to give me some of it. It's like, well, we bought separate tickets, you piece of shit.
Well, there used to be, I remember there was a story about, that brings up one of my favorite stories, is like a bunch of people in New York in an office, they buy for the lottery all the time. And they would pool it.
Yeah.
So they go
different when you pool it.
Well, when you pool it, so this was always my favorite story, is like they end up winning. And someone in the group who normally pools with them is like, they were like, hey, did you give your money? Can you give they win, and then they come to the office, they go, can you give your money for your ticket? And the person's like, oh yeah, here you go, and gives her like $10, and they go, you just won $20 million. And it's like, that's like a sweet story in that, like, we pool, we do it all the time. Like, they could have been like, well, fuck them, we get an extra $10 million each. Like, you know, like,
right.
This group would probably do that to this person. They'd be like,
right.
well, fuck you. So Jared, what do? I already made this mistake of sharing the outcome of my inquiry with the girls.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Glad you know that.
Do I split the refund with the rest of the group? Do I do nothing unless explicitly asked me to give them the money back? They all
How
got vouchers,
old are
so
these
it's not
people?
like they're walking away empty-handed thanks to a potentially greedy betch. What do you think?
They all got exactly what they were supposed to be refunded.
Right. You got the out of.
You got
I guess
fluke.
Right. I guess the idea would be like, well, because they got the fluke, they should give to everyone else. You know, no, I don't think to me, the minute the person went on their own, got their own $150 voucher.
It's an independent.
And then let you guys go, hey, this is what I did. You can do it. It's not like they did it for you and then they gave them $150, you $150, them $150, and then you $670.
Exactly.
And then you're in this, they did this as a group. You guys were left alone, and alone go the spoils.
Right. I agree.
Right.
It's a total fluke, and just honestly spend it immediately so you can finish this.
And also, it's not like a $670 cash that you can just give out. It's a flight voucher. It's in your account. Like, it's not like something that's easily divvyable. You'd have to like give your own cash.
It's very strange how you would even divvy it to begin with.
I say you keep quiet. You don't say a word. Let them cry themselves out. This won't be a reason the
I almost wonder if you
friendship
can lie. I almost wonder if you can be like, oh my God, they figured it out, and they
No, I would just be like, yeah, good luck on you getting your $670. I would even, listen, the money's already in the bank for you. First of all, I would spend the $670 now.
Yeah.
Then I would share your voucher receipt with the rest of them and see if they can get $670.
Right.
And if they can't, they can't.
Exactly.
You help as much as you can to get them to your spot, but you're not going to give them
Here's
your money.
how I worded the email. Here's the receipt.
Right.
Good luck.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Ashley Gavin, thank you so much.
Thank you. This was so fun.
The best. Thank you so much. Everyone go follow Ashley at AshGavs. The YouTube special. It is out right now. Ashley Gavin live in Chicago. It's on YouTube. Go, go, go. It's in the description of this episode. I'm Jared Freid. We're here every Monday. Keep sending your emails. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Back next week. Boom.